Hey, would you like to learn the void of course technique we talk about on the podcast often? Well, it's in Chapter 4 of the Book of the Moon. The audiobook is available now on Audible and on Apple Books. And this episode of the Fun Astrology Podcast is brought to you by the Book of the Moon audiobook. So pick yours up today and learn that technique and use it for yourself. Well, let's get another week started. What do you say? On Monday, May the 6th. That just has a nice ring to it. 5-6, doesn't it? Well, we have not a whole lot going on in the sky this entire week. Hi, everybody. Thomas Miller, and welcome back to the Fun Astrology Podcast. Yeah, quiet week this week like we had talked about last week, and boy, do I have something to fill the gap this week. We're going to be talking to Stephen Forrest, author of 20 books in astrology, but particularly the one that we're going to focus on is about the same focus as we have this week in the sky, and that's the moon, the Book of the Moon. Going to release the interview as soon as I get it edited, and then I thought we would chunk it for the rest of the week, because that's literally what we're doing. I mean, there is one other aspect. We have a couple that I'll mention now, and then there's one on Wednesday. The moon changes signs, and then it changes signs on Friday. And literally, those are the only aspects. Now, you know what that means? That means that bundle has gone, yeah, that's a free sound effect, and I do own the rights to that. Like that. Ow! You know, that kind of thing. We do have a new moon tomorrow, speaking of, and that is new creations, and that's what we'll be talking about relative. In fact, I might release this. When is that? It's 11:21 p.m. tomorrow. I'll probably get it out. That's a good question. Should I release it right on the new moon? We'll see. I'll see how we feel on that one. Maybe so. Because it just fits. It fits the whole theme of what Steve talks about. And if I released it at 11:21 tomorrow night in the Taurus full moon, that would just have all kinds of good juju around it. So that's probably what's going to happen. But we'll play an excerpt tomorrow. We do have a couple of gallery seats, switching themes to the Robert Glasscock, Thomas Miller group readings that we're doing tomorrow night, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you'd like to peek in and watch and get a recording of that episode, then go to the top of funastrology.com to register. Now, speaking of the moon, the first event is at 5:42 this afternoon. The moon moves into Taurus, just like we were mentioning, setting up that new moon tomorrow night. Now, that happens after a big, long void of course, so the moon is void of course all day. From the time you wake up this morning until 5:42 Eastern, the moon is void of course. And Steve will be talking about what that means, basically, of non-activity. You'll get to hear it in his own words, and that's the brilliant part. But the moon is void of course all day. And then the other aspect today is Mercury conjoins Chiron at 10:30 this evening Eastern Time. You could go back to 2 weeks ago and pick up the interview that I did with Jenny Geyer on Chiron. We did one during the week and one on Sunday. You could pick those up and listen if you want to drill down some more on Chiron, and particularly around this aspect. In this case, Mercury is a trigger planet, so almost just like the moon, you could watch for triggers around your Chiron wound or wounds. So more than a theme around Mercury Chiron, what I would do is more look for a trigger of Chiron. And with Mercury involved, it might come from either thoughts in your head or words in your ears. Be careful. If something is said that triggers you, walk away from it. Just get away. I had to do that recently. Something triggered me, and I just stepped away from it. Deal with it later. Don't do it right now, and don't react. That would be the best advice there. Then, overnight or early in the morning, for those of you on the East Coast, it would be at 1:42 a.m. Eastern, the Sun and Saturn sextile. Taurus is in the limelight. The Sun is in Taurus, and Saturn, of course, is in Pisces. That's a 60-degree difference, and that aspect will happen early in the morning, so we'll be in the applying phase, the amping up phase to that. We're in it all day. And I came up with the keyword for today, grounding, because the moon enters Taurus, grounding, Earth. The Sun in Earth, sextiling favorably, grounded. I mean, think about firm foundation Saturn. Take it slow, build it right, do it until the project is complete, climb the mountain, check and make sure you're climbing the right mountain, and stay grounded. Couple of days ago, I got one of these grounding mats. It came as a suggestion from Caroline Horn, who does the Akashic Records readings over on funastrology.com. You plug this thing into just the grounding port, the little hole at the bottom of your electric plug in the United States. You plug it in there, and it connects to the outside ground that your home is grounded to. So supposedly what it's doing is while you're sleeping, they have a bed sheet, and then they have a floor mat that you can put your bare feet on. If you do, then supposedly the idea is that it grounds you as though your feet were in the soil. Caroline told me that her dog Marsh, who is elderly and has some arthritis, has been sleeping on the mat, and literally, she said, ran to the car the other day. If you want the brand of it, it's called Grounding Well, Grounding Well. I'm still within the first few days, so I'll reserve my opinion, but that's the name of it if you'd like to check it out. But I like the idea. I love the idea, actually, and particularly today, grounding. Here's a suggestion. Go look like a fool and grab a tree trunk somewhere and give that tree a great big hug and a kiss. Doing something today to ground yourself in nature. And then obviously just enjoy this week. It's a little energetic reprieve, although the bundle is tight and the energy is going to be compressed and strong and powerful. But that's why the universe gave us a Taurus moon to get this week started off right with, and a Taurus new moon to really ground it in tomorrow. And that will be the new beginning of the lunar cycle that we'll be talking to Steve about all week. Wow, this is going to be cool. I love it. You guys have a great day. Happy Monday to you. I love you, and I'll see you back tomorrow.